say that it is impossible for some people to do music. Like, there are just some that are meant to be fans and some that actually can do music. But you say none of them. That anybody can learn music.
I didn't say that. But you can clap in rhythm, right?
Yes. I could not help you stay on rhythm, but if you are creating the rhythm, I could follow it. Yeah, I could follow
That's music?
Yeah. Or is it partaking in your music?
That's what music is.
Okay.
It's a collaborative art form.
I guess, but how many instruments do you play? Okay, and I guess let's say how many, like, could you pick up and create that kind of music with?
Well, like, there's a lot of, like, really easy instruments out there.
Okay,
well, I mean, I don't know they're that easy, but, like, say a tambourine.
Okay.
So I can play a tambourine pretty good. I practice it, actually.
Yeah.
And shaker.
Yeah. The eggs,
So,
like
yeah.
those egg
Oh, yeah,
things?
sure, eggs, or any kind of shaker, like, and then, so there's lots of different kinds of shakers, so with percussion instruments, like, there's a lot, you know, I have, like, varying degrees of proficiency on, more, like, melodic instruments, so violin, guitar, and piano would be my main three. Have you heard of theremin?
Nah, I never heard of it.
It's an electronic instrument with two antennas, and when you put your hands, well, one of the antennas is volume, and the farther away from it you are, the louder it is, and if you're touching it, it's quiet, and the other one is the pitch.
Yeah.
So you go.
This is something that you introduced into your music, or just know about?
I've never used a theremin in my music. I've never played a theremin before. Well, I have played them, but never used one in my music.
If you could learn it, would it work with your music? Because I like what I've seen is like more like energetic, like
You can
like
use
a lot of.
You can use theremin in a lot of places.
So how long till you do it?
If I was going to use theremin, I would hire somebody that knew how to do it.
There you go.
Yeah, because I don't have time to learn every instrument as much as I'd like to.
Yeah, that's a totally good point. Like that's like another thing I'm always advocating is like in circumstances where it applies to like not try to do everything yourself.
Absolutely.
To definitely look for the people that already have those skills, because you may be able to teach yourself how to do it, but timing, like I mean, like being able to do it, like design-wise, I can do something in 10 minutes that you could do, but it might take you an hour.
Right.
It would
Totally, and well, there's people that have dedicated their lives to instruments.
And what do you think about the bartering system or trading system? Like, well, if you
I'm all about it.
Yeah, if you couldn't use money, what would be?
I offer to do violin for someone in exchange for their services.
Yeah.
And I do it all the time. For example, so I just finished making a record for my band Judgement Day, and there's so we needed to get the songs mixed, and there is this producer in Iceland that I like to work with. His name is Flex. Like, he's got one name, it's Flex. And his mixes cost $1,000 a mix, so I couldn't afford that. Wow. So I talked to him. He's like, well, let's trade. You do some string arrangements for me. Send them over. No, we did them all over the internet. So I did the string arrangements for 5 songs, and he mixed 5 songs.
Nice.
So it was great. And now we have 5 great mixes for a record. Yeah.
So it's viable. Do you think enough people do it?
I don't think a lot of people think to do it. I don't know.
Yeah. So then you just made a new CD, like recently. What number CD is this? How many do you have?
It's our second full-length record for Judgement Day. We have 2 EPs. One of them is out of print and is now free download at stringmetal.com.
Yeah. What's string metal?
That's our website. Okay. Stringmetal.com.
What are the biggest complications you've discovered?
I would like to record with a producer. And it's just expensive. So
Yeah.
we couldn't afford to do that on this record. But hopefully next time.
So then when everything is collected together and you've got all the sound recorded, and you're going into like reproduction and actually producing the actual disc,
Yeah.
what's the hardest thing about that?
Well, right now, I think one of the big challenges is, what are you going to do that's going to make people want to buy it as a physical copy?
Got it. The digital versus
I think that now, well, sure. Well, I was. If you're talking about printing, if you're going to print your CD at all, which you might not even need to anymore these days, it needs to be a collector's item. I think it needs to be now. Otherwise, there's not really much point. Just there are services that have you can like sell cards that are digital download cards, and I mean that's probably a better way to go. Unless you have like something really awesome about it to like make it a collector's item. You gotta get really creative. So that's the biggest challenge with the physical copy these days, is doing something that no one's done yet.
Yeah.
Doing something original.
So that's the reason people would want it, as opposed to just downloading MP3s, is because they see, oh, if I had it, I could decode all these things. I can open it, I can dig into it.
It's like a fun toy.
So you gotta own it.
Yes.
So that's what you're trying to figure out now, why someone would buy an actual disc versus just figuring out how to like get the music out there. What role do you think a record label plays now? Because that's one thing I've discovered, is that like some people are very like pro record label, and some people are like concerned that might be the main downfall of music. What would you say to that?
I would say so. There's a lot to say about that. Labels nowadays are trying to be more than just labels. They're trying to be management companies, where this is speaking of major labels, where they take 50% of everything that you do, including your merchandise sales, your album sale, your touring money, your publishing, which includes any time that you land a slot in a movie, say a movie wants to use your song. In the past, there were publishing companies where you do a publishing deal, and so you have someone who just does that, who specializes just in getting you placement in movies and TV, whatever. And now labels have taken over that job, and hopefully they're hiring staff from those publishing companies because they don't know how to do that really. Right. They sell records. They know how to sell records, but you can't. The major labels with the amount of money that they spend on projects can't really exist in that same way anymore, because they were not selling enough records to solely persist on that.
So you're saying that the old record labels might have had a lot of problems, but the hope is that the record labels are changing to adapt with where music is going, and thus...
Yeah, well, they are changing. Their deals have already changed. The deals have changed so that they are now not just a record label, they're also taking part of your touring, which only your booking agent did before. Bands still need booking agents, though. It's just messed up. So it's just they're taking money from things that they're not even working on now. But like the publishing thing, like they're taking 50% of your publishing, whereas before the publishing company did that, and so hopefully they will start being as good as a publishing company as they are at being a record label. But I'm afraid right now, I don't know if they are there yet. Like, I don't know if they have that. I think that they're taking money for things that they don't know how to do.